was very difficult to find younger managers who were willing to talk to me for this project. The ones I did speak to had some very interesting views, represented by this interview. I'm wondering if you're responsible for any employees over the age of 50?
No.
And have you ever been?
No.
And why do you think that is?
I think generally it's quite a young industry. I mean, if you're sort of over the age of 50, there's an expectation that you'll be part of management. In fact, here, a lot of our managers are sort of 30, 35, and if they're not in management by that age, people tend to move on. I mean, you know, marketing communications, which is the industry that I work in, it's a very young, it's a very young industry. So,
in the selection process for a new recruit, is age ever taken into account and looked at on a CV?
Not consciously, quite possibly subconsciously. I think people basically are a bit discriminatory, I think. They have an idea of the sort of age range that they want to interview for a particular role.
I was surprised at the inappropriate language used by some of the interviewees.
When we recruit people, we might post an advert on, say, LinkedIn, for example, or other social websites. We'll go to university websites, to graduate websites. All of these places are less likely to attract sort of the elderly applicant. We'll also go to consultancies, and they tend to have a smaller number of people they represent, which again sort of hinders our chances of attracting the elderly applicant.
The term elderly was used by several younger managers. In one instance, this was in reference to age groups above 35. I was just about to conclude our interview when Luke added something interesting.
So I'm recruiting for my role at the minute, and I do quite a tough job. I've got short leave times. I'm constantly going from one job to the next, and I've got to juggle a lot of stuff up in the air at any one time. So unofficially, the age range that my employers are looking at in order to replace me with is roughly about 25 to 35, and that's not being ageist. That's you've got to make sure they've got the drive to do stuff, they've got the passion, and they've also got to be willing to learn, because like my role is a development role, and if you've got someone coming in that is too really adept, that they're already really good at the role, they're going to find it too easy, it's not going to be demanding enough for them, and so you've really got to take that kind of thing into consideration as well when we recruit.
And has it ever been discussed within the company that you're looking for someone between the ages of 25 and 35?
Yeah.
And does HR think that that's a reasonable, justifiable requirement?
Well, that was a conversation between myself and my boss. I asked him directly, what sort of candidate you're looking for, what's the ideal requirement, and the argument I've just given you is the argument he gave to me. So that specification will go to the recruiter, and the recruiter is going to sift through all the CVs of the people that have applied to the position, and we'll sort of go from there. Now, HR don't really have any control over the situation because they're not privy to that conversation.
So is this one of the ways that CVs are filtered down?
People don't get filtered out because of their age, but the recruiter will kind of know what we're looking for, so we tend to get younger interviewees.